Hello, everyone. I am Patricia Botero Saint Jean, founder of Open for Business, and I work with burned out employees break free from their job by becoming entrepreneurs. And through Open for Business, we help them research, identify, and start the right business for them so they can build a life we love. And we do this with my online courses and private one-on-one coaching, but also by interviewing business experts. And today in the house, we have Thembi Bekha, and Thembi came from Zimbabwe to North America several years ago with very little money. She has an amazingly inspiring story to share with us. And she's also going to share with you how you can make your business more successful. Thembi is the founder of She Breaks Through. It's a company that trains African women to become virtual assistants so that they can support themselves in their own country. And her mission is to train 1 million women by 2025 become independent as virtual assistants so that money is never a reason for them to be stuck in an abusive relationship. So I think it's an amazing mission that you have here. And Thembi was also voted the Launch Club spokesperson of the year, which is when I met you, and the spokesperson of the year for the Jeff Walker community, a community that I'm part of, that I have privilege of being part of. And she's been also featured in top-rated podcasts, including Cashflow Ninja, and her Success Radio, which also featured top entrepreneurs like Kim Kiyosaki, Kevin Harrington, Ali Brown, and Mary Folio, to name a few. Thembi, welcome to Open for Business. And then really thank you very much for spending time with us and sharing your wisdom and your journey and how you can help entrepreneurs be more successful in business. So I am an immigrant like you, right? But my immigrant journey, we all have an immigrant journey, all have an immigrant story. Mine is a walk in the park compared to yours. And in very little time, you have created several businesses, and now your company not only helps African women become independent financially, but you also help hundreds of entrepreneurs worldwide succeed in business. Can you tell us a little bit on your background and your journey and how you came to starting this company?
Thank you so much, Patricia, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to share with your audience. So basically, just a little background. I came from Zimbabwe, as you already mentioned, as an immigrant, and we all have an immigrant story one way or another. And my situation was I had been in a very uncomfortable relationship when I left Zimbabwe. So I left and I had this goal that I'm going to empower women and I'm going to change the world and things are going to be great. But that didn't happen because, you know, as an immigrant, when you move to a new country, it's like, hey, baby, you have to learn to walk. You have to learn to crawl. You have to learn to talk the way they talk. And that's how I felt moving to Canada. I was like, oh my God, now I have to learn how to walk. I have to learn how to talk, how to, you know, and it sounds like it's an overnight thing, but it took a while. And during that process of learning, I had to go back to school, train, and became a registered nurse. And then I kept learning. I started a business in real estate, and I'm still learning and trying to get my feet grounded and trying also to help these women in Africa. But when I was kind of felt like, okay, I'm at a situation where I could actually start empowering others, I decided to teach them how to invest in real estate. And I realized during that time that these women were at a different level than what I was thinking. Real estate was way too advanced for the situation in Zimbabwe to even think about it. So I was like, there's got to be some way to do it. And that's how I came through online marketing. I was like, okay, let me just find out what I can teach them, and so they can be what I am without having to leave the country. And I started learning and teaching, and through trial and error and so many mistakes along the way, I finally figured out that the best way is to teach them to be employees, because most of them didn't want to be entrepreneurs. Right. They wanted to be employees. Right. So, and I had already trained my own VAs, personal VAs, how to work with me in the way from Africa. And I was like, well, if I did this for my own, why don't I teach them the same thing? And they can make the same money and create the same income and have the same impact for their families. And it's funny, Patricia, saying this. Like when I started, I wasn't thinking of having an agency or having people work for me. That was not in the picture. My idea was that I was going to train this woman. They were going to go look for jobs. And that's really how it was going to work out.
Interesting.
And it was after I trained them and I said, hey guys, these are the websites. Go look for jobs. Go look for apply for jobs. Nobody applied. And I was like, oh my God, something is missing here. Why are they not looking for jobs? And I kept trying to push them. And I noticed that very few out of, let's just say, 10% maybe were even putting their resumes out there. A lot of them were not.
So you were looking to hire people in Africa, in Zimbabwe, and you said you were not finding them, and no one wanted to start to work as an employee, or...
No. I had not started my business at that time. I had only trained them. So I trained them and I said, go look for jobs online. These websites, just go look for jobs. And most of them were not doing that.
I see.
So I was like, there's something wrong. And I had an epiphany. And that was the moment that I just taught them. And this is the same thing that happened to me when I came to Canada. I thought that because I knew how to walk and do all sorts of stuff, I'll just get into Canada and my life will be easy. It's not like that. And it was the same for them. Just because I had taught them how to be virtual assistants, they still had a mindset.
I see.
They needed to shift. And they still had to work hard and to believe in themselves, to say, we can do this. So basically, we shifted that, and I ended up starting an agency to say, okay, work with me and learn your steps, and then you move forward. And so that's really how I ended up starting this agency, to teach them, because I realized that they were not ready. And most of us women entrepreneurs listening right now, you might be feeling that way, where you try to get to $1 million before you even get to 6 figures.
Right.
And there's steps you have to take to do that.
So you came to Canada from Zimbabwe. You started a business, started looking for virtual assistant yourself, who you trained, right? And then you started school or training, facility to teach people to become virtual assistant in Africa, but they were not looking for a job outside of, after they graduated, they did not look for a job. And that's how you came to create your own agency, by employing your students, your best students, to become virtual assistant and then help people worldwide. Amazing. That's amazing. So tell me, when you came to Canada, how did you come to Canada? How did you make that journey from Zimbabwe to Canada?
I moved as a refugee, so I basically had this came as a refugee. When you come as a refugee, you kind of go to a place, and when you get there, they give you a place to stay. I stayed at the YMCA. I guess it was YWCA, but I stayed at the YMCA for 30 days, and after that, the government gave me some money to get started, which was like $500. And so they give you $500 and like, go out there, good luck. And so
and with $500 you create this amazing, with real estate, you became a nurse, you became a real estate investor, and now you have this agency in Africa helping women there and also helping entrepreneurs worldwide.
It's funny, it looks like it was just $500, but there's something so special and so powerful about just that one $500, because when I came to Canada, I only had $5. So $500 was 100 times more than what I had when I came to Canada. So think of you right now, if your income were to be 100 times more than what you're earning right now. It doesn't matter if it's $500, but it's like, oh my goodness, 100 times more than what I ever had in my life. And for me, that $500 was a lot of money. It was a lot of money, and it made me realize the possibilities, how possible it is for me to be anything I want to be. Because here I am having 100 times more than what I had 30 days ago. And I'm like, oh my goodness, my life is changing. And that naivety of not thinking $500 is not a lot helped me, because it
Right.
made me dream big. And
Right.
it made me realize that I could 500 times whatever I have right now.
It gives you faith.
It
That's
gave me
really it.
faith.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's something I can relate in some ways. Coming from another country, I come from France. We don't have the situation you had in Zimbabwe, but still, coming to this country was a mind-blowing experience, because you all of a sudden you realize there are no limits to
Yeah.
what you can do here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of immigrants, we
Yeah.
absolutely love the opportunities that we've been given, and we don't take it for granted. And so it's amazing. So let's talk about virtual assistant, because
Mhm.
not only that, now you're helping others becoming very successful in their business. So, um, can you tell us a little bit about your screening process? I know you have a school and an agency, so you train
Mhm.
people and then you give them a job.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about your screening process of your virtual assistants. Who are they? What kind of people are they? And how do you decide who you're going to hire?
Yeah, that is very interesting. It's been a transition, like everything else. So when I first started, I basically just took everybody who could afford to pay the $100, because I charged them $100,
Mm-hmm.
and who could afford to pay the $100. And as I'm learning now, I'm realizing that that was actually not a smart idea. So now I have transitioned from that to basically going for people who are kind of like in very uncomfortable situation, in a desperate situation, to say. So they're in a desperate situation, they really need this job, they
Mm-hmm.
have no option, they just need this job. And these are people who we try to bring on board, because we know that those are the people who, once they graduate, they're going to put more effort and they're going to apply for these jobs. So we bring them through and we train them through a 6-week process where we are teaching them how to be a virtual assistant and the basic stuff they need to do. Most of the stuff is done on the job. There's a lot of on-job training, on the
Mm-hmm.
job training. So once they graduate from that 6 week, and then they have to apply for the job. They don't
Mm-hmm.
just get the jobs, which
Right.
is something I also made a mistake on when I started. I just gave them jobs.
Yeah.
And so they apply for the job, and I do the interview. We do 3 interviews: a behavioral interview and a skills interview. And really, yeah, and then another final one. So the behavioral, we look at their personality, we look at their drive,
Right.
like what is driving you. Like we could have somebody who doesn't even have a laptop or anything, but they are so driven. They just
Right.
want to succeed, they just want to help other employers, and they just want to help their families as well. So the drive is number one. That is actually the number one trait we hire for. We hire for drive, we hire for personality, and then
Mm-hmm.
we train them for skills.
Okay. So, and I want also to mention that, for us, in America, we don't really know very much about Zimbabwe typically, but I know that there are 16 languages that are being spoken. English, though, is one of the main primary languages, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
So it's not an issue. The language is really not an issue. Obviously, yours is excellent, but
Uh-huh.
it's also something that people do not need to worry about when they are working with one of your virtual assistants. Is that correct?
Yeah, we don't actually in Zimbabwe our schooling, because we're a British colony.
Right. Former.
Everything,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, from a British colony, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so everything we still technically colonized, because everything is in British
Right.
language.
Right.
Everything is
Right.
we have every schooling. From the time you go to school, you have to learn in English. Everything
Okay.
is in English.
I
So
see.
even our exams, like when I wrote my exams, they are marked in Cambridge. They're called UCLE, University of Cambridge Local Examinations.
Okay.
So they are not even
Cambridge.
local Zimbabwean things. So that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. We are not colonized, but it sounds like we still are.
Right. It's fairly recent, 1980, right? This is when you
Yes,
became
yes.
independent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So everything is in English, everything is marked UCLA. And so because of that, a lot of these women are very educated, and
right.
education like is compulsory back home. Like you can't just stay at home and not go to school.
Oh, okay.
So we have a very high education level. One thing though which has happened is most of the women who end up working with us, these are women who trained, some of them were lawyers or engineers. They
Really?
have degrees, yeah. But because the unemployment rate is 95%,
Wow.
they are sitting at home doing nothing. So
Oh.
those are the women who we find we end up attracting, the
Mm-hmm.
smart, intelligent girls who have degrees, who've got masters and PhDs, who just
Wow.
graduated and they don't have jobs and they're stuck at home.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So I'm saying this because it makes a big difference. There are virtual assistants all over the world, but
Mhm.
specifically, your team members are English is their first language,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So I mean, we could hire somebody from some any site like Upwork and Fiverr, and a lot of time English is their second or third language. But
Mhm.
yours specifically, that's a key point that we are not aware of here from where we stand. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have our own local language, a native language we speak at home, but when you go to school, it's all English. So
right,
yeah, you
right,
can you
right.
can say it's a first language.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I'm just wondering, so you talked about the screening process and how you help them, how you started your company. Uh, can you tell us more about the task that your teammates can do, or your virtual assistants can offer? I know your specialty is online digital marketing businesses, courses, online courses, etc. But there's a lot of activities that also can be helpful for someone who has a brick and mortar location, like a yoga studio, or I used to own a spa, or something like that, or restaurant, or even real estate, right? So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the broad, services that can be really helpful to an entrepreneur here, especially in the US or Canada, but or worldwide, really, that they can help with.
Yeah, so we specialize in tech. So we're not
Okay.
just like a virtual assistant
Okay.
who be reading your emails or sending your emails. We are tech staff. And we found that a lot of entrepreneurs, and the reason why we did that is because a lot of entrepreneurs, whether you're brick and mortar, whether you're offline or online, one of the biggest challenges they have is tech. And
Right.
what do I mean by that? WordPress. Like if you have a website, and if you have let's just say a page which you want updated, a lot of these offline businesses, they will have a website and they don't know how to put their website out there. Like they're struggling to say, how can I make my website be the number one, rank on top?
So,
That's
so
one thing.
okay, search engine optimization as
Yes.
well.
So we can
Okay.
help you with that. So we can help you with things like that. We can help you with your plugin updates. Sometimes we have entrepreneur who says, I have a website, it's shut down, it's not working, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And usually it's just a little tweak. Maybe they didn't update their plugins or something like that. So we
Right.
will help you with that. So we
Wow.
really help with the technical stuff of the business. So we work with online and offline entrepreneurs, but mainly in the technical stuff. So if somebody in the online world is putting their product out there and they're thinking, how can I put my product out there? And how can I do, let's just say, training like this one we're doing, and cut and paste and do this and add words onto this video? That's something we'll help them with.
Do they also video editing as well?
We don't do a lot of video editing. We do it, but it's not our
Okay.
specialty. We do
Okay.
just cut and more like the beginning and the ending, sort
Okay.
of. That's
Okay.
what we try to specialize on.
Okay. And recently you started a new branch or new activity of completely helping with the launch of a digital product, an online course, or so tell us a little bit more about what you do within that category of services.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed as I was doing, as we were getting clients who were wanting tech, a lot of them were just giving us assignments, but there was no clarity
Right.
in their
Okay.
assignments. And I started noticing a trend. And then when I had a call with one of them and I said, so you are giving us these assignments. What exactly is your goal at the end? And I realized, oh, I'm thinking I'm going to launch. And I realized that, oh my God, she doesn't have the real step by step of launching. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's just taking what she hears from this person and what she hears from this person and trying to build her launch program together. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, we're going to start a pilot program. I would like to start a pilot program where I help you launch faster, because you've been with us for so many months and you haven't launched.
Mm-hmm.
And so can I start? We started a program and we had a few people who came through that program. It was very limited number because we didn't want to overwhelm ourselves. And we started helping people launch. And that was so eye-opening, because not only were we supporting them with their tech needs, I also brought in my expertise, because I've been in this online industry for so many years now, and I know what to launch and the messaging and everything to make sure your program sells. I started teaching them how to do that, and started looking at their sales page and say, you need to change this, you need to change that. I think we need to tweak this like that. So with that expertise, it just kind of like gasoline. It's kind of like adding gasoline on fire, sort of. It kind of like just exploded their launches, or somebody will do their first launch and it just explodes, because their open rates are like 90%. And because I was bringing my expertise and the girls were bringing in their tech expertise and that client's expertise, it just worked out so well. And so that's something we're definitely doing. We continue doing on top of tech. We also help other people launch their programs and put their programs out there faster.
Wonderful. And so each one of your VAs do they have a specialty, or do you have some sort of expertise in different, like, for example, you mentioned SEO. Do they also do social media posts and Facebook ads and things like that?
We don't do Facebook ads, but what we've done is we do have specialties. Now, as we grow, we're starting to realize who is good at what. So we look at a VA, if they are good at video editing, for example, we have one who does basically just transcripts and says, that's what I'm doing. There's so many apps you can use for transcripts, but people come for us for finalization of those transcripts. So we'll do that. If we have somebody who's doing graphics, like, for example, a landing page, we have girls who are so good at that to say, I am so good at graphics. We have somebody who basically her job is to post on social media for other clients. That is her job. She just does that. So we do have some specialties, which starting to specialize as we grow.
Right. So, and you have an interesting way of, it's so much cheaper, so much less expensive to hire your VAs than it is to hire someone, especially from the northern continent of America. But tell us a little bit about, I think it's more of a membership type of thing. And can you tell us a bit more your programs and how it works?
Yes. So most people, when they do virtual assistants, they do like an hourly rate. And actually what we noticed is that actually is not good for the client, because the client can be scared to submit tasks thinking, oh my God, I've already paid 10 hours. I don't have my 10 hours for the week is over. I guess I have to wait till next week to submit tasks and ask them for help. So we decided to have an unlimited task submission option where you pay just a monthly fee and you get unlimited tasks. You just submit. The only thing is we can only do one task a day. You can submit as many as you want, but we do one task a day. And depending on the package you're on, there's 2 packages. And so we just help you with the tasks and we do that. So our clients, any time of the year, if they decide, or any time of the day, if they decide, you know what, I want to launch next week, they don't have to wait to say, oh, I've already reached my 10 hours. They can start submitting their tasks right away. And so that is one easier way. And because of that, because of the system, we also go in and ask the clients to say, hey, we noticed you haven't submitted. Remember, you paid for the whole month. How can we support you? What challenges are you having? And I'll just give an example. We had a client who kept submitting, and they were submitting from different platforms. And we looked at it, we were like, hold on a second, why is this client using so many platforms? We went into her system, we decided we're just going to downsize into one platform, and we told her, we spoke to her about it, and she agreed. She saved thousands a month.
Really?
Thousands a month, because she was paying for all the different platforms you can think of online.
All the different softwares,
exactly, and solutions, because she thought she didn't know. She thought she needed them. And when we started working with her, we said, no, you don't need this. This is all you need. And She's been so much.
And I sure wish I had known this. I mean, when I first started putting my courses online or trying to put my course online,
Mhm.
I spent so much money on different applications, not realizing that they were duplicating themselves, and and then money on people who I didn't know how to hire them, didn't know
Yeah.
what to ask them, so I wasted a lot of money on a lot of different, launching, etc. So even just as a startup,
Yeah.
you can save tremendous amount of time, energy, and money by having one of your tech virtual assistants or the team create the funnel for them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you have two packages, right? Are you comfortable? I mean, do you have do
Oh
you want
yeah.
to share your pricing so we have an
Yes.
idea what that
Yes. So
is?
if you go to our website, our pricing we have two packages. The first one is called the standard and then the premium. The
Okay.
the standard package you pay $397 a month,
Okay.
and you basically get unlimited task per month, and you can
Hmm.
uh as many tasks as you want, but you only get one task done a day.
So
And then
that's 30 task a month,
30
basically.
tasks a month. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you can basically just build your business with that.
one task,
Yeah.
of building a landing page
Yeah.
pays for the whole month, basically,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Because if you look at, like, if you ask somebody to build a landing page right now, it's going to cost you like $300,
right,
$400, and
right.
that pays for the whole month with us. So,
Wow,
so you can do that, or you could go with the 997 package. This one is for people who are more advanced. These are people who are looking for things, integrations like Zapier integrations and
oh
HTML.
yeah,
CSS coding, those kind of things. Yeah, so that is the $997 package a month, and that one you can submit up to 90 tasks a month. And
wow,
in a lot of people who like agencies come use that one with us
right,
because
right,
they have clients, and so they try to to do stuff for their clients through us. And we say,
right,
while launching, if somebody is in active launch, that's the package you want to take, because when you're launching, you don't want to be submitting one task a day. You have so much stuff. You want people to be there 24/7, because with that one you get your own VA. So it's
right,
not like the other one where you kind of, that one is personalized. You get your own VA. You can reach them any time of the day, and you can
right.
communicate with them any time of the day.
That's amazing. And you share, of course, you share different tools that they need to use in order to keep all the password private and protected.
Yes.
And I've watched some of your webinars, and you're so generous with all the information. Even if people don't sign up, they should
Yeah.
definitely listen to your webinars. And we're going to put some links at the end of this conversation today. So if anybody's
Thank you.
interested, you can go to it.
Mhm.
But so that's just quite incredible. So do you have any for any business owners? So you save them a tremendous amount of time, because I know when I work with business or aspiring business owners.
Mhm.
Um, as a new business owner, there's so many things you need to learn.
Mhm.
And really, we talk about something like the genius zone. We start a business because we're really, really good at one thing, or we're really, really passionate about one thing. But then there's a bazillion different things to learn, like
Mhm.
marketing and all these tedious little softwares that we have to learn. But by freeing people from those tasks that are not, within a person's genius zone, you help them grow their business so much faster.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
and that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We have clients who, like, I remember this particular client. She wanted to have a meditation app, and
Okay.
she was like, I don't know how to do this. And I was like, you know what? Let's start by building your website first and see how we can do that, and support you in the website. And she started working on getting clients. And before we even completed her website, she's like, I want to be a case study, because you have no idea, I've already made money before my website isn't even complete, because now I concentrate on just getting clients, and you guys are doing that stuff. And she was so happy, and we finally built a meditation app. And she was really happy, because now she's getting clients all the time to buy her meditations, and also through her websites. So we help people really expand on their zone of genius. And one of the things which we do, especially for the offline business people who might be listening right now, you will come in and you think, oh, I don't need to have an online or website, or maybe even
Hmm.
if you have a website, it's okay, it's enough, I'm an offline business. That's actually is not enough.
Hmm.
A lot of people just realize after, and it doesn't have to be a website, it can be a simple thing as a funnel. That's all you need, just to collect emails and keep in constant communication with those people. That's how you're going to create income. If you look at people like, her name is Jenna Kardashian, the Kardashian girl, and she now has an email list, because an email list is what helps her build her income, and she's a billionaire now, you know.
Right.
So people don't realize the importance of having an email list, even if you have an offline business.
Right.
So
Well, social media is only goes so far, right? But once you have
yes,
someone's email addresses, you can communicate with them directly.
exactly. My gym
And
does that. Mhm.
and you mentioned mobile apps. Do you create apps as well?
We did. It's something which we started scaling back on because it's very time consuming.
Right.
And yes, but when we first started, yes, we used to do mobile apps. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, do you have any concluding word of advice for entrepreneurs out there, both online and offline entrepreneurs? Of aspiring owners, from your perspectives, what are the biggest dangers that they should avoid in starting a business?
Oh, there's so many, but I would like to talk about while the first one is get started and get started fast. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are very slow. They kind of take the cockroach style of starting a business, like the style of starting a business, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that. And usually when you do that, by the time you get to level number 4 or whatever you're doing, you've lost momentum.
Right.
And when you're starting a business, it's like a kid when they're learning to walk. They're so excited, they can't stop walking, they just want to run around everywhere. And once they reach the age of 5, my son, I have a 7-year-old, he doesn't want to do work anymore. He just want to sit and do stuff, at home. So it's the same thing with business. When you're starting a business, it's like your baby. You want to start it and launch it faster and just push it with a bang. Stop saying you have to do this, you have to do that. Get it out there and learn from mistakes, because there's gonna be a lot of mistakes even if you prepare. No matter how much you prepare, you're gonna have mistakes. Just put it out there, learn from your mistakes, and keep doing it and doing it and doing it. If you're an online business, keep launching and launching and launching and learning from your mistake.
Right.
And the other thing, I cannot stress this enough, and I know this will sound like, because I have a virtual business, you don't have to come to work with us. You can work with anybody, but stop doing the stuff that does not contribute to your revenues.
Right.
A lot of entrepreneurs are stuck doing things like paperwork or writing emails, or there's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't contribute to your revenues.
Right.
You need to stop.
Focused.
You need to stop doing that and start thinking of, have a day, say, what are my revenue generating projects, and what am I working on that's going to bring in revenue? Because most of the things we get caught up on is revenue.
And one thing that I see that a lot when I work with people who are not business owners yet, they want to become business owners, and they think they have their whole life, the rest of their lives ahead of them to do. And it's that sense of urgency that makes people succeed, because they're going to be failing in many, many ways.
Oh, yeah.
But, you really need to fail in many, many ways in order to become successful. And waiting until you know how to do everything perfectly is the surest way to not even get started. And if you do get started, to really not succeed eventually. So,
I have
with
so
your
many
help,
regrets.
people can really avoid a lot of these errors, a lot of these annoying errors that they're afraid to take initiative, because they think, oh, well, I need to know this before I get it going, right? So, and that's kind of like our story as immigrant too. We know, you can't just wait until you are perfectly ready to move to that country. You have to move, and then you'll figure out on the ground.
Exactly. So, can you imagine if you had to research all of America? By the time you want to move, there's a new president who says, no, we don't want any more immigrants. So what do you do? So, you just have to take the step and just go for it.
Yeah. Right. That's such a really, really wise lesson. So do you have any concluding word of advice for anybody, or should we just, provide them with your contact information? I hope people are really going to think about. I know you have a lot of free content that you offer on your website. So how do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So just go to virtualstaffondemand.com.
Virtualstaffondemand.com. That's really easy.
Yes, virtualstaffondemand.com. go in there and you could learn how to work with us. And also you could see there's a section there where you could see our ladies and find out who they are and their background and how they became who they are, and just learn about more about their story and make an impact in the world. And really, just to conclude, just get started.
Thank you so much, Thembi. It's been really a pleasure discussing this with you, and I wish you the very best luck. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks so much, Patricia,
Okay,
for having me.
bye-bye. So did you enjoy this wealth of content and information that Thembi shared with us today? I certainly did, and decided to make some changes in my business as well. But hiring a virtual assistant to delegate the tasks that are outside of your genius zones can really empower you to accelerate your business. Here's why. Number one, realize that money in your business is important, of course, but it's not as important as your time. Your time is even more important because it's a finite resource. And taking too long in taking your business from negative cash flow, as it always is when you begin, to break-even point, to profitability, can actually kill your enthusiasm and your business as well. And number two, with a virtual assistant, you won't waste your precious time learning something that your business needs, but that also takes time away from your genius zone, which is where you make money. And number three, you will also benefit from their expertise and save yourself a lot of money by not buying resources and products that you may not need, and making mistakes in purchasing, for example, software applications or duplicates like I did last year and wasted thousands of dollars. But anyways, at the end of the day, being savvy on how you use your scarce resources of time and money is really what makes business owners and entrepreneurs more successful. So for information on hiring a virtual assistant with Thembi's agency, see the link below. And then if you are considering starting a business at this point in your life, or maybe in the near future, join our community at Open for Business. We are your business ownership research lab, and this is where, with our courses and our coaching sessions and the market resources that we freely share with you, we help you research, find, and start the right business for you. Either an independent startup from your brilliant idea, such as what we're doing today, or a turnkey concept, such as a franchise or business opportunity that you want to develop, or the acquisition of a business that is for sale. Each one of those three paths is a path to business ownership, but each one of them requires a vastly different method of due diligence and validation. Thank you for watching today, and cheers to building a life you love by starting the right business for you. Take care.